evening, I'm Michelle Powers, and this is your current news update. From Brooklyn to the Catskills, city kids in the great outdoors for the first time in a long time. The Diocese of Brooklyn Scouts are back at summer camp for the first time since the pandemic, and today they had a special visitor. Emily DROOBY is there, and she tells us the visitor is no stranger to Mother Nature.
Michelle, that's right. Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio, a former Boy Scout himself and a Scout leader before he entered the seminary, traveled 120 miles to be here today. The Scout motto is "Be prepared," and they sure were. They welcomed their guest with the perfect camp meal. Sloppy joes, tater tots, and chocolate pudding.
Don't get it on the left.
Boys and girls at 10 Mile River Scout camps enjoying a classic wilderness lunch and a visit from the Bishop of Brooklyn.
Just want to say hello.
Inspiring to kids like Victoria PENA of Queens Troop 253G.
I'm really grateful for that because he traveled all the way over here just to see us and be with us.
This is Victoria's second year here. She first came back in 2019, the first year girls were invited. The bishop celebrates Mass at the campsite every summer, except last year when the pandemic kept them closed. He calls it a great program.
It's a leadership training program for the most part. It teaches young people how to lead, how to find ways to improve their lives.
When he was a scout, the bishop earned the rank of life, the second highest honor. Typically, this camp sees 2,000 kids. That number will be a bit lower this year because of COVID, but as you can see, it's still the place to be for Boys and Girl Scouts all over New York City. In Narrowsburg, Emily DROOBY, Currents News.
And if you are interested in joining the Scouts or enrolling your child, you'll need to find a meeting near you. Just go to beascout.scouting.org. Now to tonight's developing story hitting New York State's Capitol. The Attorney General's report on Governor Andrew Cuomo is in, and it's a big one. It finds he violated both federal and state laws by sexually harassing multiple women.
And I am inspired by all the brave women who came forward. But more importantly, I believe them. And I thank them for their bravery.
Victims include both current and former government workers. The nearly 5-month investigation found the governor engaged in unwanted groping, kissing and hugging, and inappropriate comments. The 165-page report includes interviews with hundreds of witnesses and reviews tens of thousands of documents. However, a footnote in the report says the document does not reach a conclusion on whether the governor's conduct should be subject to criminal prosecution. The governor denies the findings of the report, saying he never assaulted anyone, but he accepts responsibility because he does touch, quote, everyone, a gesture he calls cultural. His attorney has responded to each allegation in the report individually and has made those public, and Cuomo plans on instituting new sexual harassment training. At the same time, he is also facing investigations into nursing home deaths and the promotion of his book. And now the order from Bill de Blasio. He wants the governor to step down, but in the meantime, he's telling you, no shot, no service. He says in 2 weeks, if you're inside somewhere, you'll need a vaccine.
The goal here is to convince everyone that this is the time. If we're going to stop the Delta variant, the time is now.
The first in the nation mandate will be required for restaurants, gyms, and performances. The policy will launch on August 16th and will be enforced officially on September 13th. Meanwhile, across the country, 70% of American adults have received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. That's the goal President Joe Biden wanted to reach a month ago. Ironically, that milestone comes with another surge, Delta variant infections. Within the past month, the daily count increased six-fold, with the U.S. averaging 80,000 infections a day. And that is your Currents News Update. I'm Michelle Powers. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you next time.